Isabella Rivera sat on the balcony of her modest condo in Miami's Little Havana, sipping café con leche as the morning sun glinted off the distant ocean. At 72, she had the kind of face that told stories, deep laugh lines from years of joy, and faint worry creases from a lifetime of sacrifice. Born in Havana, Cuba, she had fled to the United States as a young girl during the Revolution, arriving in Florida with nothing but her family's dreams packed in a single suitcase. She built a life here, married young, worked as a seamstress in a garment factory, raised her only son Miguel, and buried her husband Carlos after a long battle with cancer. Now, in retirement, her days were filled with the rhythms of the neighborhood, salsa music drifting from open windows, the scent of croquetas frying in nearby kitchens, and the endless hum of traffic on Calle Ocho. For the past 5 years, Isabella's life had revolved around Miguel. After his messy divorce from his first wife, Sophia, he had spiraled into debt. The beach house in South Beach? Isabella co-signed the loan and covered the down payment. The boat he used for weekend fishing trips? She paid for that too, dipping into her savings from Carlos's life insurance. Monthly checks for groceries, utilities, even his gym membership, it all added up. "Mama, you're my rock," Miguel would say, hugging her tightly during their weekly dinners. But lately, those dinners had become less frequent. Miguel was busy with his new fiancée, Vanessa, a vibrant young woman from Key West who worked as a tour guide. Isabella liked Vanessa at first. She reminded her of her own fiery youth. But something felt off, like a storm brewing on the horizon. One humid afternoon in June, Isabella decided to call Miguel. She had heard whispers from mutual friends about wedding plans. "Mijo, when is the big day?" "I need to get my dress ready," she said, her voice bubbling with excitement. There was a pause on the line. Then Vanessa's voice cut in, smooth as silk, but sharp as a knife. "Oh, Isabella, we already tied the knot yesterday in Key West. Sunset ceremony on the beach. It was perfect. We only invited people who are part of our new chapter." The words landed like a slap. New chapter? Isabella had been the author of Miguel's entire book, raising him single-handedly after Carlos's death, scraping by on factory wages to send him to community college, even helping him start his small real estate business. She had poured over $150,000 into his life since the divorce, money she could have used for her own dreams, like visiting Cuba one last time or fixing up her condo. Stunned, Isabella gripped the phone tighter. "But I'm your mother," she whispered. Miguel finally spoke, his voice muffled. "Mama, it was intimate. Just us and a few close friends." Vanessa wanted it simple. Simple? Isabella scrolled through social media later that night, her heart shattering as photos popped up. Miguel and Vanessa on a pristine Key West beach, waves lapping at their feet, Vanessa's parents beaming beside them, toasting with champagne. There were Vanessa's siblings, laughing in floral shirts, and even some of Miguel's old college buddies. But no Isabella. No trace of the woman who had sacrificed everything. Tears streamed down her face as she calculated the math in her head. $500 a month for the beach house mortgage, $300 for the boat slip, countless emergencies like car repairs or vacation funds. It totaled more than she wanted to admit, money from her pension and savings that left her eating rice and beans some nights. That was the breaking point. The next morning, Isabella marched to her bank, the one where the teller knew her by name. "Cancel all automatic transfers to Miguel Rivera's account," she said firmly. The teller, a kind young man named Luis, raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure, Senora Rivera? You've been sending those for years." Isabella nodded, her chin high. "See, I'm sure. It's time I take care of myself." For the first time in ages, she felt a spark of liberation, like shedding a heavy coat in the Florida heat. A week passed in tense silence. No calls from Miguel, no texts. Then one evening her phone buzzed. It was Vanessa. "Isabella, hi. Listen, the beach house payment bounced. The bank says there's an issue with the transfer. Can you fix it?" The landlord's threatening eviction. Isabella's blood boiled. After excluding her from the wedding, they had the nerve to ask for more? "Vanessa," she said calmly, "I didn't forget. I stopped it on purpose." If I'm not part of your new chapter, then neither is my money. There was a gasp on the other end. But we're family. Miguel's your son. Isabella hung up, her hands shaking but her resolve steeling. The retaliation came swiftly. 2 days later, a certified letter arrived from a law firm in Miami. Isabella's heart sank as she read it. Miguel was petitioning the court for guardianship, claiming she was mentally incompetent to manage her affairs. Erratic behavior, the document stated, citing her sudden installation of security cameras, which she had added after a neighborhood break-in, and her irrational decision to cut off financial support. Paranoia and possible dementia, it alleged. Isabella stared at the paper, disbelief turning to fury. Her own son was trying to declare her unfit to steal control of her finances? The beach house, the boat, they weren't just luxuries. They were leverage. Panicked but determined, Isabella reached out to a local senior center she had volunteered at years ago. "I need help," she told the director, Maria, a no-nonsense woman in her 50s. Maria connected her with a pro bono attorney from the Florida Bar's Elder Law Division, a sharp-minded lawyer named Elena Gonzalez. Elena, a Cuban-American like Isabella, listened intently over coffee at a little Havana cafe. "This is textbook elder abuse, Isabella. Financial exploitation, disguised as concern. We'll fight it." Elena explained the process. Miguel would need to prove Isabella's incompetence in court, but with medical evaluations and witnesses, they could counter it. As the case built, Isabella found unexpected support. At the senior center, she joined a group for abused elders, mostly women like her, who had given everything to ungrateful children. "You're not alone," said Rosa, a 75-year-old from Hialeah whose daughter had done something similar. "We rally together." The group met weekly, sharing stories over empanadas and cafecitos. Isabella opened up about the wedding exclusion, the years of sacrifice. "I thought love meant giving everything," she confessed. "But it left me empty." The women nodded, hugging her. "Love means boundaries too," Rosa said. Inspired, Isabella started documenting everything. Bank statements showing the transfers, social media screenshots of the wedding, even old text messages where Miguel promised to pay her back someday. Miguel's side escalated. Vanessa called daily, alternating between pleas and threats. "Isabella, think about Miguel," he stressed. "This could ruin him." Then, more sinister. "If you don't help, we'll have no choice but to push the guardianship harder." Isabella blocked their numbers, installing a new security system with cameras and alarms, not out of paranoia, but prudence. Elena advised her to get a full medical evaluation. At a Miami clinic, Dr. Ramirez, a geriatric specialist, ran tests, cognitive assessments, memory quizzes, even an MRI. "You're sharper than most my age," he told her, handing over a report declaring her fully competent. The court date loomed in August, the Miami heat mirroring the tension. Isabella dressed in a simple white blouse and skirt, her silver hair pulled back, a gold cross necklace from Carlos around her neck. The courtroom was sterile, fans whirring overhead. Miguel sat across the aisle, avoiding her eyes, Vanessa beside him whispering to their lawyer, a slick man named Mr. Torres. "Your Honor," Torres began, "Mrs. Rivera has exhibited clear signs of decline. Sudden financial cuts, unnecessary home fortifications, it's paranoia. Her son only wants to protect her assets." Elena stood tall. "Protect? Or plunder? My client has supported Mr. Rivera to the tune of $150,000 plus. The erratic behavior? Self-protection after betrayal." Witnesses followed. Vanessa tearfully claimed Isabella had changed overnight. Miguel echoed her, his voice cracking artificially. But Elena dismantled them on cross-examination. "Mr. Rivera, when did you last visit your mother without asking for money?" Miguel stammered. We were busy." "And the wedding? Why exclude her?" "It was private." Isabella's turn came. She spoke steadily, recounting her immigrant journey, her sacrifices. "I came to this country with nothing, built a life. My son? I gave him everything. But when he said I'm not part of the new chapter, I realized I deserved my own." The judge, A stern woman named Judge Alvarez listened intently. Dr. Ramirez testified to Isabella's competence. Rosa and Maria from the support group spoke of her vitality. "She's thriving," Rosa said. In closing, Torres painted Isabella as isolated. Elena countered, "This is abuse, Your Honor. Greed, not care." After deliberation, Judge Alvarez ruled. Petition denied. Mrs. Rivera is competent. Case dismissed. Relief washed over Isabella like a cool wave. Outside, Miguel approached. "Mama," but she walked past head high. Victory tasted sweet, but Isabella wasn't done. She donated $50,000 to elder abuse charities, including the senior center that saved her. "For women like me," she said at a fundraiser. Then, embracing her roots, she started Salsa Seniors, a dance club at the center. Twice weekly, elders gathered to sway to congas and trumpets. Isabella led, her hips moving with forgotten grace. "Life begins when you dance free," she told newcomers. Months later, on a crisp November evening, November 1st, 2025, to be exact, Isabella hosted the club's first anniversary party. Laughter filled the room. Music pulsed. Miguel had faded from her life. Rumors said he sold the boat, downsized the house. Isabella didn't care. She had her community, her freedom. As she twirled under string lights, she whispered to Carlos's memory, "I'm living now, mi amor." The Florida sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, a new chapter, written by her. Isabella Rivera woke to the sound of roosters crowing in the distance, a remnant of her Cuban heritage that somehow persisted in the heart of Miami's Little Havana. The clock read 6:30 a.m., and the air was already thick with humidity. At 72, her mornings were a ritual. Brew strong coffee, sit on the balcony, and watch the neighborhood come alive. Vendors setting up fruit stands, children heading to school, the occasional blast of reggaeton from a passing car. It was a far cry from the chaos of her youth in Havana, where political upheaval had forced her family to flee in 1961. They arrived in Florida with little more than the clothes on their backs, but Isabella's parents instilled in her the value of hard work. She married Carlos at 20, a fellow refugee who worked as a mechanic. Together, they built a life, saving every penny for their son, Miguel, born in 1980. Carlos's death from lung cancer 10 years ago had left Isabella alone, her world shrinking to Miguel. The divorce from Sofia 5 years back had hit him hard, lost job, mounting debts. Isabella stepped in without hesitation. "Me, Joe, family is everything," she said, co-signing for the beach house in South Beach, a sleek 2-bedroom with ocean views that cost $3,500 a month. She paid the mortgage, reasoning it was temporary. Then the boat, a 25-foot yacht he named Libertad, for weekend escapes. $1,200 monthly for the slip and maintenance. Groceries, utilities, even Vanessa's spa days. It all came from Isabella's pension and savings. Over $150,000 in 5 years, she estimated, money that could have funded trips or home repairs. But love blinded her. "He's my only child," she told friends. "What else is money for?" Vanessa entered the picture 2 years ago, a 32-year-old tour guide with sun-kissed skin and a laugh like wind chimes. Isabella welcomed her, hosting dinners with arroz con pollo and flan. She's good for him, she thought. But subtle shifts occurred. Miguel canceled visits. Vanessa's thanks grew perfunctory. Then the wedding rumors. Isabella saved for a dress, a flowing blue number from Macy's, $250 with shoes. She dreamed of photos, toasts, dancing. The call that shattered it all came on a Tuesday. "Me, Joe, tell me the date. I want to help plan." Vanessa's voice. "We did it yesterday in Key West. Only people for our new chapter." Isabella froze, phone slipping. New chapter? She had written the prologue. Tears came later, scrolling Facebook. The beach ceremony, Vanessa in white lace, her parents arm in arm with Miguel. Siblings raising glasses, friends cheering. "No, Isabella. Special people," Vanessa had said in a post caption. The pain was visceral, like losing Carlos again. That night, Isabella tallied the costs. $500 monthly rent support x 60 months equals $30,000. Boat, $72,000 overtime. Miscellaneous, $48,000. Total, $150,000 plus. Enough, she whispered. The next day at the bank, she canceled everything. Luis, the teller, hesitated. "Senora, are you okay?" "Better than ever," she replied, though her heart ached. Silence followed, then Vanessa's call. The payment bounced. "Fix it, please." Isabella's response was calm. "No more. If I'm not in your chapter, neither is my money." Click. The letter arrived soon after. Guardianship petition. Mental incompetence, it claimed. Security cameras, installed after a burglary scare, were paranoid delusions. Cutting funds was irrational. Terrified, Isabella turned to the senior center. Maria, the director, hugged her. "We've seen this. Get Elena." Elena Gonzalez, 45, fierce in court, met Isabella at a cafe. "This is abuse. We'll prove your competence." They gathered evidence, bank records, texts, wedding photos. Isabella joined the support group, bonding with Rosa, who shared her story of a greedy daughter. "They see us as ATMs," Rosa said. Weekly meetings became lifelines, stories, tears, laughter over cafecitos. Vanessa's calls intensified. "Isabella, Miguel's depressed. Help us." Then threats. "We'll prove you're unfit." Isabella blocked them, upgrading security. Not paranoia, but self-care. Dr. Ramirez's eval. Fully competent. Report in hand, Isabella felt empowered. Court day, August 15th, 2025. Miami courthouse, air-conditioned chill. Isabella in her best, cross gleaming. Miguel looked haggard, Vanessa defiant. Torres argued. Decline evident. Elena. Greed, not concern. Witnesses. Vanessa's tears, Miguel's evasion. Elena's cross. Last non-money visit. Silence. Isabella testified. Immigrant tale, sacrifices, betrayal. "I deserve my chapter." Dr. Ramirez, Rosa, Maria corroborated. Judge Alvarez, denied. Isabella wept with joy. Outside, Miguel mumbled, "Mama?" She walked away. Post-victory, donations, $50,000 to charities. Then salsa seniors, classes at the center, Isabella teaching steps learned in Cuba. Enrollment boomed, seniors twirling, laughing. On November 1st, 2025, anniversary party. Music, food, joy. Isabella danced free. Miguel faded. They struggled, learned. Isabella thrived. Trips, art, community. Love, she learned, starts with self. In the sweltering heart of Miami's Little Havana, where the air hung heavy with the scent of cafecito and fried plantains, Isabella Rivera began her day as she always did, with a quiet determination born from decades of survival. At 72 years old, she was a woman shaped by the sea. Born in Havana, Cuba, in 1953, she had crossed the Straits of Florida as a child during the Cuban Revolution. Her family arrived in Key West with nothing but hope and a few tattered suitcases, fleeing the turmoil that had upended their lives. Isabella's father found work as a fisherman, her mother as a seamstress, and young Isabella learned early that life in America was about grit and giving. She married Carlos Rivera at 19, a fellow Cuban immigrant who worked as a mechanic in a bustling garage. Together, they built a modest life in Miami, saving every penny for their future. Their son, Miguel, arrived in 1980, a bundle of joy that filled their small apartment with laughter. Carlos's death from lung cancer in 2015 left Isabella reeling. She was 62 then, retired from her job as a factory supervisor, living on a modest pension and the life insurance payout Carlos had secured. Miguel, then 35, was her anchor, or so she thought. His marriage to Sofia had ended in a bitter divorce 3 years later, leaving him buried in debt from legal fees and lost alimony. "Mama, I need help," he pleaded one rainy evening, eyes downcast. Isabella didn't hesitate. Family is everything, Mijo, she said, hugging him tightly. She co-signed for a beach house in South Beach, a sleek, two-bedroom condo with ocean views that cost $3,500 a month in rent. Just until you get back on your feet, she told herself, transferring $2,000 monthly to cover it. But one thing led to another. Miguel's real estate business struggled in the post-pandemic market, so Isabella paid for his marketing courses, $5,000 here, $3,000 there. Then came the boat, a 25-foot yacht he named Nueva Vida for weekend fishing trips with friends. The down payment was $20,000 from her savings, plus $1,200 monthly for the marina slip and maintenance. It's good for his mental health, she reasoned. Groceries, utilities, even Vanessa's yoga classes when she entered the picture 2 years ago. It all added up. Vanessa, a 32-year-old tour guide from Key West with sun-bleached hair and a contagious smile, seemed like a fresh start for Miguel. Isabella welcomed her with open arms, hosting family dinners with arroz con pollo, black beans, and flan made from her mother's recipe. She's vibrant, like I was at her age, Isabella thought, ignoring the way Vanessa's thanks grew shorter over time. By 2025, Isabella had poured over $150,000 into Miguel's life since the divorce. Her own condo needed repairs. The AC unit wheezed, the kitchen cabinet sagged, but she ate simple meals of rice and beans to stretch her pension. It's temporary, she told her reflection in the mirror, brushing aside the worry lines etching deeper into her face. Friends at the local senior center warned her. Isabella, you're giving too much, said Maria, the center's director, during a bingo night. Children should fly on their own. But Isabella waved it off. He's my only child. What else is a mother for? The whispers of wedding plans started in spring. Miguel mentioned a ceremony in Key West, Vanessa's hometown. Isabella's heart soared. She saved for a dress, an elegant coral number from a boutique on Calle Ocho, $300 with matching shoes and a clutch. She envisioned walking down the aisle arm in arm with Miguel, toasting at the reception, dancing to salsa under the stars. When is the date, Mijo? I want to help with the flowers, she asked during a rare phone call in June. The response came like a thunderclap. Miguel hesitated, then Vanessa took the phone. Oh, Isabella, we already did it yesterday. A beautiful sunset ceremony on the beach in Key West. It was perfect, just the people who are part of our new chapter. The words "new chapter" echoed in Isabella's ears like a curse. She stood in her kitchen, phone clutched so tightly her knuckles whitened. But, I'm your mother, she stammered. Miguel's voice chimed in, awkward and rehearsed. Mama, it was intimate. Just us, Vanessa's family, and a few friends. We didn't want drama. Drama? Isabella had been the steady hand through his divorce, the silent supporter through his lows. She hung up, sinking into a chair as tears flowed. That night, she couldn't sleep. Scrolling through social media on her old iPad, the photos assaulted her. Miguel and Vanessa on a pristine beach, waves crashing romantically behind them. Vanessa in a flowing white gown, her parents, proud and beaming, flanking the couple. Her siblings raised champagne flutes, laughing in floral shirts and lace. Miguel's college buddies clapped him on the back. Captions gushed. Only the special ones made it. New chapter begins. Isabella zoomed in on Vanessa's dress, the lace she had helped finance with a $500 personal expense check last month. The pain was physical, a knot in her chest. Special people, she whispered bitterly. She had paid the rent on that beach house where they hosted the after-party, bought the furniture they sat on, filled the fridge for their guests. Yet she was not special. The next morning, over her café con leche, Isabella made a decision. No more. She drove to the bank, the Miami sun beating down on her silver Honda. Luis, the teller who had processed her transfers for years, looked concerned. Senora Rivera, canceling everything? Are you sure? Isabella nodded, her voice steady. Yes, Luis. It's time I write my own chapter. She watched as he clicked through the screens, severing the financial umbilical cord. Driving home, she felt a mix of grief and liberation. The grief of a mother's broken heart, the liberation of reclaiming her power. A week of eerie silence followed. No calls, no texts from Miguel. Then, on a Friday evening, her phone rang. Vanessa's number. Isabella, the beach house payment bounced. The landlord's furious. Says eviction, if not fixed by Monday. Can you transfer it? Must be a glitch. Isabella's pulse quickened, but her voice was calm. No glitch, Vanessa. I stopped it. If I'm not part of your new chapter, my money isn't either. There was a stunned pause. But we're family. Miguel's your son. He needs this. Family invites each other to weddings, Isabella replied. Goodbye. She hung up, her hands trembling but her spirit ignited. The retaliation was swift and cruel. 2 days later, a certified letter arrived from a Miami law firm. Isabella's fingers shook as she opened it. Petition for guardianship, it read. Miguel was claiming she was mentally incompetent, unable to manage her affairs due to erratic behavior and possible dementia. Evidence listed: her recent installation of security cameras after a string of neighborhood burglaries, the sudden and irrational cessation of financial support, and paranoid isolation from family. If granted, Miguel would control her finances, her home, her life. Isabella dropped the letter, nausea rising. Her own son, the boy she had nursed through fevers and cheered at soccer games, was trying to declare her unfit, to steal her independence for his gain. Panic set in. Who could she turn to? She remembered the senior center on Flagler Street, where she had volunteered before Miguel's needs consumed her time. Maria, the director, answered her call immediately. Isabella, come in right now. Over tea in Maria's cluttered office, Isabella poured out the story. The support, the wedding exclusion, the petition. Maria's eyes flashed with anger. This is elder abuse, pure and simple. Financial exploitation. I've seen it too many times. She connected Isabella with Elena Gonzalez, a pro bono attorney from the Florida Bar's elder law program. Elena, 45 and Cuban-American, met Isabella the next day at a quiet cafe. Tell me everything, Elena said, notebook ready. As Isabella recounted the years of transfers, Elena nodded. We have a strong case. They'll need to prove incompetence. We'll prove abuse. They started building the defense. Bank statements showing $150,000 plus in payments, screenshots of the wedding posts, text messages where Miguel begged for money. Get a medical eval, Elena advised. At a local clinic, Dr. Ramirez, a geriatrician, ran a battery of tests, memory recall, logical puzzles, even an MRI. You're in excellent shape, Mrs. Rivera, he said, handing her a report declaring full cognitive competence. No signs of dementia. Isabella also joined Maria's support group for elder abuse survivors. 8 women, mostly in their 70s, met Tuesdays at the center. Rosa, 75 from Hialeah, shared her tale of a daughter who siphoned savings for a luxury car. They see us as banks, not people, Rosa said. Over empanadas, Isabella opened up. I thought love meant giving, but it left me broke, in money and spirit. The women hugged her. Boundaries are love too, said another, Carmen. The group became her lifeline, interweaving stories of betrayal with laughter and strength. We're rallying for you, Rosa promised. Meanwhile, Vanessa's calls turned nasty. Isabella, this guardianship is for your own good. You're acting crazy. Then threats. We'll win in court. Think about your legacy. Isabella blocked them, upgrading her security system with cameras and motion sensors, not paranoia, but protection. If they come uninvited, I'll have proof, she told Elena. The court date arrived in mid-August, the Miami humidity making the courthouse feel like a sauna. Isabella dressed in her coral wedding dress, ironic armor. Miguel sat with Vanessa, his face pale, their lawyer, Mr. Torres, slick in a suit. Your Honor, Torres opened. Mrs. Rivera has declined mentally. Paranoia, irrational finances. Her son seeks to protect her. Elena countered. Protect or exploit? $150,000 in 5 years, then exclusion from his wedding. This is greed. Witnesses testified. Vanessa cried. She's changed hostile. Elena cross-examined. When did you last call without asking for money? Vanessa faltered. Miguel echoed. I'm worried. Worried enough to sue for control? Elena shot back. Isabella took the stand, voice steady. I came from Cuba with nothing. Raised Miguel alone after my husband's death. Gave everything. But new chapter? I deserve mine. Dr. Ramirez confirmed competence. Rosa and Maria testified to her vitality. Judge Alvarez deliberated, then ruled. Petition denied. Mrs. Rivera is competent. Cheers from the gallery. Outside, Miguel approached. Mama, let's talk. Too late, Isabella said, walking away. In the aftermath, Isabella donated $50,000 to elder abuse charities, speaking at fundraisers. For the silent sufferers, she said. Then, embracing her roots, she founded Salsa Seniors at the center. Classes filled quickly, seniors learning mambo, cha-cha. Isabella taught, her body remembering the rhythms of Havana. On November 1st, 2025, the club's anniversary party pulsed with music, laughter. Isabella danced, free at last. Miguel and Vanessa struggled, sold the boat, downsized. Isabella heard through grapevine but didn't reach out. Her life bloomed. Trips to Cuba, finally. Art classes, new friends. Love starts with self, she told a newcomer. Under Florida stars, she whispered to Carlos. I'm alive again.